A jack of all trades is a master of none. And as we get to 2025, I see that more often in the large companies and how they kind of are approaching this new industry of AI. They're building out generic AI systems. They're going very broad in their capabilities, but they aren't focused or specialized. And I think that that is where the indie developer is really going to come in and be able to monetize and build up their careers off of building out focused AI implementation. So for me, looking at this and being a software developer, I have been talking with others in the industry and just kind of exploring how you can go about receiving better results whenever you interact with AI in your everyday work, but also how to apply it to software that you're building out to create a focused solution within a niche and to build something useful. So for me, I went about this in a few different ways. This application, which I kind of shared initially, has been built out a bit further since my last video, which was like 2 minutes long, where I figured out how to build out this canvas. I've taken it a few steps further where I can apply websites or other project knowledge to the canvas, and I think that it could be a useful tool in just batching out useful knowledge to an AI system to get a result. But what really caused me to start figuring out, okay, how can I get better results in prompting with my work in building out applications was Dash Mantine Components. We started exploring llms.txt and creating documentation that was designed specifically for AI models and not solely have documentation designed for human to build out as a developer because times are changing. Special recognition to Anne-Marie. It's always a pleasure working with you. And she started just kind of building out and exploring these llms.text. She got it integrated into the Dash Mantine Components, which is a component library that allows you to build out Dash applications that just look beautiful and interact well. For what I did is I created this prompt that I batched out four separate times. Okay, I basically asked Claude, and I have a subscription where I'm paying $100 a month for their pro subscription with Claude. But what I did is I just asked it to build me out a restaurant review application and then use Dash Mantine Components, and then I gave it a few bullet points for what to structure and kind of what to do and what I'm looking for. So just better UI, UX, and then it's a pretty well created prompt. Okay, but I created this without any project knowledge at all. So I just pressed enter, and its results, I'll skip to the end, but its results were it wasn't able to actually build out the application correctly where it was in a runnable state right off the bat without any intervention. So as a software developer, I wanted to improve the results, and what I noticed through this test is the initial Claude model without any project knowledge is going to be a year behind in some libraries and coding. So if you don't have active project knowledge associated with the libraries that you're currently working within, then you're going to get bad results and what was created through this prompt and asking it just directly. As you can see, it's building code. If I threw that code into an IDE, it most likely wouldn't run. And that's what I have seen through my testing. So in order to get it to a point where it does actively run, it doesn't run into issues of conflicts of the newer Dash Mantine Components, for example, has a prop change or something like that. That's why this llms.text was created. And what it is that, as you can see with this, I just loaded up, and this is the full Dash documentation, but it's in a format that an LLM could just read through the whole thing, and it's large. So it's not something really beautiful for the human eye, but for an LLM, it's a great, thing. So these are basically three different approaches to building out the same website, which is that Yelp application, okay? The first one with just the llms.text, I got this response, which is going to be seen on the left. This is a decent enough result. Right off the bat, it was able to build out the application. It relatively looks good from a glance. There are some aspects that I don't like. I don't like this banner. I don't think they did the best job. But if we zoom into the filters, these aren't really that great. So I think that they kind of work. Yeah, they do work, but the filters themselves, I'd like to see this as an option that would hide up, and none of these are clickable. I can't go to anything on this, okay? So its second attempt, okay, this is the middle one. I basically provided that project knowledge of how to use the Dash Mantine Components library, but I also provided this right here, which is a very long file. And this is a design.txt that I created, which basically outlines the best UI UX design principles. And it's a long documentation that isn't directly focused within Dash Mantine Components, but as it's like the overarching understanding of like how to style your house, where Dash Mantine Components is the foundation of the material and how it needs to be positioned in the house. You have another layer of software development, and that's UI UX design, and it can be taken further in depth than just making something practical, but you need to limit the friction that an individual has when interacting with your software, and that happens through the pleasant tree of how you style your software, but also through like ease of use and how you maneuver things to just make it flow and be universally understood. So that's what this document was designed to do. It's designed to give that project knowledge alongside the Dash Mantine Components llms.text, and you get a better response. And this was the middle response. So I'll scroll in real quick and get an idea of why I think this was a much better response. So right off the bat, the filters, it drops down. You have this that looks nice. This looks more professional, where you have the drop down on the left, and then on the right, you could switch it from two different forms. That's just genius. I love it. That's how applications need to be. There's no option for that without providing that design.txt in its initial attempt. So with that, I like this. I think that this did a really good job, and I just kind of wanted to explore to see if I could get any other better results. So I did find this video, which I will link in the description down below or on the screen, but find it. It's a really good video. So I wanted to see if I could apply that, and in order to do that, I went to the YouTube, and I have a Gemini account. So I just asked Gemini, hey, create a transcript of the video. And I provided that transcript and a little bit of project knowledge on, okay, this is how you do depth and and see if it would create a better result. And this was the final attempt. So it is, I can see a depth a little bit, and it's banner, right here. It just has a little bit of depth. And then I'll scroll in a little bit so we can get a better idea of this. But yeah, this doesn't have the drop down filters. I'd take points off for that, but they do work. And for the cards, if you compare the two together, they're a little bit different. I kind of like the heart. I think that that's an interactive, effect. I'd rather have that over there than a badge that just says like what, I'd move that. I think that this is better. So I'd say the cards on this approach were better. So give or take, this is just still early in the experimenting, but ideally what I'm looking to do is to create the tools or the understanding of how do you batch responses together to create a more effective response, and how you build with AI. So for me, there's a lot of cool things happening right now in this space. I'm encouraged with it as a software developer, and now is the best time to learn and to get involved. So check out the links in the description down below. Like and subscribe if you found this useful. And as always, build something amazing. And I'll see you guys in the next one.